Pacers, Celtics. I don't like that game at all. I don't like how it ended. I don't like the calls that was being called in the entire game. But we're gonna do something different. I did watch 2 games. I watched the Celtics and Pacers game, obviously, because we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it here. Talk about that here. I keep hearing shit. We're gonna talk about that here, and I'm gonna have another video with the Suns and Clippers game because I did stay up to watch that. Fucking regret it like hell, but I will come out with another video probably as soon as this one drops. Once you finish this one, if you watch it, that one will be out. Type shit. But let's get into this. I keep hearing shit. But let's get into this Celtics and Pacers game. So obviously we have 2 of probably the highest scoring teams, I'm pretty sure, in the East as we speak as of today. Sadly, Tyrese Halliburton did go out with an injury in the second quarter, which is sad because the game was it ended up being a great game without Halliburton, but it was looking to be one of the most high scoring games probably in the season combined with both teams, because obviously we've seen teams go for 150 and blow out the other team and they only have like 110. I'm pretty sure yesterday they ended with 120, 130 each, and they ended the first half with 60 near 70. I was expecting it to be another high scoring game with them, with Tyrese going down. After Tyrese went down, I did expect it to be some type of blowout, I'm gonna say. But of course the Pacers, they're young, energetic. Oh, I gotta stop looking back. I've looked back like 10 times in this 2-minute span. Jesus fuck, I feel like I look close. This is so stressful. And the crazy thing is I'm not restarting it. This is gonna be a clean, no cut, just us talking. So again, I did think the Celtics were going to blow them out as soon as Tyrese got hurt. As Tyrese got hurt, I think we went up 10-11 before break. And they did make a little comeback before we went into halftime, or they made the comeback right after, coming into the third quarter. And of course, this Pacers team is energetic. They're all young. They have energetic players in Naismith. Shit, that nigga got fired. But they have energetic players like Naismith, Miles Turner, T.J. McConnell, Andrew Nembhard, who was chirping at Joe Mazzulla almost the entire first half of the game when he got in. I don't know why. I wish I did. I don't know if it's because of the matchup that he had, because that's what the announcers were saying. They were saying more because the matchup with him getting guarded by Luke Cornet. I'm not going to lie, as a guard, I'd take that as disrespect, because why isn't a guard guarding me if I'm a guard? That's ridiculous. But yeah, they're energetic. They're going to be coming off, like, they're going to want to win every single game, because I feel like the Pacers are kind of playing with a chip on their shoulder. Now, I don't know what they're playing with the chip on their shoulder for, but they always seem like they have that little more edge, or the little more, like, grit and grind to get to the end of games. And now, especially with your best player going out, you want to show the world that just because he went out and he's getting all the shine, we still have these other players that can go out and ball and still win us games without our best player. And I feel like as a young team, it's one of the best things to, like, develop as a young team, because when you go into the future now I'm pretty sure before this, I'm gonna backtrack a little. I'm pretty sure before this game yesterday, with Tyrese Halliburton out, there was 1 and I think 3 or 4 within the season, and the only game they did win was against the Heat. Now, coming out and doing this against the best team in the East, it shows something to all the other teams around, that we can do this without even our best player. Now I'm gonna talk about the Celtics side of the ball, because the Celtics side. Now, of course, we didn't have JT, we didn't have Sam Hauser. I honestly didn't expect us to win this game. We're coming off a back-to-back. Not a back-to-back. We're coming off just playing them. And usually when the first team, usually when you look at these little series of games where teams will verse each other, miss a day, verse each other right again, you'll see mostly of the backup scorers, or like the loser teams have more, how do I put this? More, not not the grit, but they look more comfortable. Because I feel like after that first game, after you look back at it, when you go back into the locker room after that first game, whether it's a loss or a win, you can look back and see, oh, I lost this? Okay, when I ran this pick and roll, I can see that Luke Cornett is playing drop coverage, and I didn't take the floater I had, and I went to the rack. So now next time, since I know he's going to play drop coverage, I can now come across that screen, and I can easily float it. We saw it a lot with Benedict Mathurin. He didn't use that, what I just said, but he had a terrible first game against us, and now yesterday he blitzed off for 25. Yeah. But the Celtics, though. I said I was going to talk about Celtics, and I still talk about the Pacers. The Celtics side of the ball, the defense looked like they weren't playing bad defense, I would say. Wouldn't say they were playing bad defense against them. I would say they were more dysfunctional on defense. Now, it's crazy to say they weren't playing bad, but they were dysfunctional. The switches were off. The communication was off. Especially the start of the fourth quarter when they started, I think it's Mikhailak. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing his last name wrong. I think it's Cy Mikhailak, I think. But the defense looked off when he came into the game. They were really just attacking the switch. They were getting, at the start of the quarter, the starting lineup, Brown wasn't on the floor, I know that. I think it was White, Horford, Cornett, Pritchard, and Mikhailak. That's a terrible that's a terrible five to start off the fourth quarter with. Terrible five to start off the fourth quarter. But you have to kind of start that fourth quarter off with them because you're missing one, a rotational player, and then two, you're missing your best player. So you're already missing two rotational players right there. You're going to have to dig deep in your bench regardless. JB was already gassed. He ended with 40, something like that. But, yeah, they were having Luke, Peyton Pritchard, and Cy Mikhailak in the action every time. They would run, I don't know if it's horns. I don't know if the play's called horn. I don't really know NBA play calls. But they would have this play where Miles Turner would set a screen on the right wing of the court. Someone would come up, set whoever had the ball. He would come up, set the guy with the ball the screen. And it was usually with Peyton Pritchard and Mikhailak. So I think Mikhailak was more of the guy trying to get around the screen. And Peyton Pritchard was supposed to be the one switching. And almost every time, if they switched, they got hit by the Miles Turner screen because Miles Turner was going to come set a double screen, basically. And he was going to come around, and Luke Cornett has to hedge, he has to do something. Switch, hedge, he has to commit, do something. And with Cornett's not really that good of a pick and roll defender. And I would say neither is Mikhailak. He really doesn't get rotational minutes unless we have to dig deep in our bench. So with that, you're now attacking two of the worst pick and roll defenders on the Celtics. Peyton Pritchard isn't a bad he's not a bad pick and roll defender, but he's obviously not the best. So even having him in that action, and you have Al in the corner, and you have Derek White. When you're excluding Derek White from an action, it's one of your best plays. It got to be. Because that's one of our best defenders. It has to be. But, yeah, that was the start of the fourth. That killed us. And then I want to talk about this little zone that the Celtics like to run on defense. It looks... Now, when I watched the game, they said it's a 2-2-1. I mean, a 2-1-2. Sorry, a 2-1-2. It looks more just like a regular 2-3 zone. I kind of don't know what Brian Scalabrine is talking about. It looks like just a regular 2-3 zone. But the 2-3 zone looks amazing when the starting lineup's in. Like yesterday when they had the starting lineup of Holiday, White, Brown, Porzingis, and Al, the rotations, you go help there, I'll go there. It looked amazing. The rotations were great. They played solid defense altogether. But with a team like the Pacers, they were heating up from outside, and the one way you break a zone is by getting your threes off. Because that's the one way. You either break it from the middle, or you got to break it from the middle. But it's either going to be a pass out, or it's going to be someone in the dunker spot getting an easy layup, or maybe an and one. Now, after I just talked about all of that, I do want to talk about the last possession. The two last possessions, two controversial calls that were called at the end of the game. Now, I forgot who missed the shot for the Pacers. Derek White rebounds the ball. They decide not to call a timeout. Joe decides not to call a timeout. We have Jaylen Brown bringing up the ball. Crazy shot, I should say. Crazy shot. He's dribbling into three people. I saw Derek White open at the top of the key for the matter of 5 seconds. We didn't give him the ball. I'm not mad at it. You know why? Because it should have been a foul. Now, they got the call right the first time. He got hit in the back of the head. At first, when they first showed the first replay, it looked like a clean block or a jump ball or something. It has to be something. He hits the ball, but he still gets the shot off. Usually, when that happens, it's usually a block or a jump ball. But he still hits him on the head, and you're gonna call. So you gotta call something here. Because if I'm shooting and I get hit in the back of the head, and if he still hits the ball, I would say it's still a foul. Now I'm not a ref. Don't get me wrong. I'm no ref. But I do really feel like if I get hit in the back of the head, I want that call. And then my question to myself is, if you're a ref, how are you getting that call wrong if you got it right at the start? Because if you really look back at it, you look back at that entire play. Like not even the slow motions of the play. Look back at the fast motion and look at Buddy Hield's reaction as soon as he hears the whistle. As soon as he hears the whistle, he goes like this. Now, usually, if you know you're so confident that you know you didn't touch somebody, you're doing this immediately. You're waving that finger around. You're asking for a review. I do think Buddy knew he fouled him. That's why he had that reaction. But we can't change what happens in the past. They review it. Obviously, gets overturned. Benedict Mathurin comes up, shoots a three. Porzingis fouls him on three-point line. Can't really do much about it. Now, what I will say about this Pacers team, because now, as this video comes out, we all know Tyrese is going to be out for 2 weeks. I don't know what the Pacers' next few games are looking like for these 2 weeks, but they got to show something. I'm not really paying attention to conference, like the seeding as much. Only really in the West, because the West is so, like, they have so much good teams in the West where seeding really, really is going to matter. Like, there's 4 teams, I think, in the play-in that have championship aspirations, because the Warriors are actually out the playoffs right now, I think, as we speak. I think they're the 11th seed. I think they're out the play-in. And that's not good for them, but I don't really pay attention to seeding. The Pacers don't want to fall down in this Eastern Conference. Yeah, it's not that strong as the West, but you still don't want to fall no matter what. They're going to have to show something. And for the Celtics side, it just seems like a bad beat. Bad beat loss. You get over it, go to the next game, and you just fight out of that. You're one of the best. You know, if you're a Celtics player, right, you know that you're one of the best teams in the league. You have the best record. You're the only team with single-digit losses. I think this is their 8th loss on the season, or 9th. I don't think they're still in double digits yet. This is nothing to stress over. Nothing to stress over. Yeah, bad call. Refs do it. We saw the LeBron one. You just got to get past it and just got to keep it moving. But I think that's it for this review. I wish I kind of got more in depth of the plays. I kind of forced it just chatting, but I'm going to stop chatting. I'm going to go record this other video to get to y'all. So, peace.